I've had months to fix these, and now I'm just hours away from losing them forever. How did I even end up in this situation? Let me show you.
What are you doing with these?
I'm going to fix a crossover.
You said that 3 months ago.
I'll do it this week.
No, you have until tonight. 10 o'clock, before I go to bed. And if they don't sound good,
They're gone.
She says 10, but she means she's asleep by 10. That gives me until 9 to fix them. That way we have time to test them and get final approval before my wife turns into a pumpkin. Now, I have always had a honey-do list, and I usually just file it away. But a honey-do list with a deadline and real stakes?
They're gone.
That's new.
4 hours seems impossible. I'm going to need all the help I can get. So if you're on my side, give me a thumbs up. And if not, tell me in the comments section.
Now I sprint to the office. 4 hours is not enough time to build a new passive crossover.
Ew.
Honestly, it barely feels like enough time to panic. So I need another plan.
Stas.
No, not that Stas. This Stas, my DSP. If anything can save this speaker tonight, it's him. Now normally this speaker uses a passive crossover. Wires, resistors, caps, inductors, all soldered together. That takes days to design. But Stas, he bypasses all of that. I can hook up each driver, tell it what frequencies to play, and get instant feedback. Is it cheating? Maybe. But Sarah's the one who gave me only 4 hours, and she didn't exactly ban DSPs. But there's a problem. If I choose Stas, I have to remove the old crossover. And once I do that, there is no turning back. Now deep down, I know that it's the only way I can do this in time. So I gather all my tools, and by the time I even get to disassembly, it's already 5:26 p.m. and I haven't even started pulling this thing apart yet. Time is slipping away faster than I realized. Now I have to be careful. If this drill slips, it could tear into the woofer, and I don't have time to fix that kind of mistake. So I brace my hand here as a safety net. If the drill slips, it should keep the driver safe.
Can you take out the trash?
How does she pick the worst possible times?
As if she's doing this on purpose to slow me down. Either way, trash can wait. Once I pull out the woofer, I take a quick look, and it appears to have survived Sarah's sabotage. Now I attempt to take out the crossover, but it's stuck, and the clock isn't slowing down, and neither can I.
Yeah, just cut them.
So I grab the cutters and I rip the standoffs out.
There it is. Ha ha ha.
And by the time the old crossover's out and the first speaker's wired for DSP, it's already 5:58 p.m.
All right, I'm on a time crunch for now, so I'm just going to go ahead and prep this one speaker. That other speaker, I'm going to deal with that one later.
If I have any chance of pulling this off tonight, it's with Stas. No new parts, no waiting on shipping, everything can be done digitally, right here, right now. But to tell Stas what to do, I need to see what's really happening, and that's where the OmniMic comes in. He shows me what my ears can't, the peaks, the dips, the chaos hidden in the sound. If Stas is the control, the OmniMic is the vision. Normally this part takes days, even weeks. You measure the drivers, listen to dozens of songs, fine-tune every subtle frequency until every track sounds just right. One song might shine while another playing slightly different range falls apart completely. Getting all that perfect usually takes, well, forever. But I don't have forever. I've got a few hours. Alright, it's time to see what we're working with. In order for this to work, I need to measure each driver individually. The woofer, the mid-range, and the tweeter. Each one only plays a specific range before handing it off to the next. And when it's done right, the whole speaker disappears and you feel like you're right there in the room with the artist.
Cause I'm all about that bass, no trouble.
To make that happen, I need to know exactly what each driver can handle. The woofer and the mid-range look pretty solid. That's not really what I'm worried about. This tweeter is a ribbon design. Incredible detail, but extremely fragile. If I push it too far outside of its intended frequency range, it goes up in smoke. Typically, a sweep would play the entire range, meaning this tweeter would be an instant toast. Thankfully, the OmniMic lets me choose the exact frequencies to test, which should keep it safe, in theory, assuming I hook it up properly.
Dad, is the speaker supposed to be smoking?
What? No?
No, this can't be. Did I already lose the challenge? It isn't even 7 yet. My head drops to the table, and then I see it.
Oh, buddy. You really scared me. That's actually not the speaker, that's the incense.
Note to self, taking out the trash lowers the risk of a heart attack.
Quick technical explanation.
When you look at a frequency response graph, it might seem like you can cross the drive overs anywhere their ranges overlap, but it's not that simple, and this is where a lot of designers get it wrong. Those curves don't tell the whole story. To really understand how a speaker behaves, you have to dig deeper, and that's where the OmniMic comes in. The OmniMic measures distortion. It tells me exactly where the driver starts adding sound it shouldn't. That's when notes stop being clean and start sounding harsh. And the waterfall, that shows how quickly the sound stops when it's supposed to. If those notes hang around too long, they smear together, muddying everything. You can have a speaker that shows a graph that looks perfect on paper, but sounds absolutely terrible in real life. So with all that advanced data I gathered, I set the crossover points at 800 Hz and 5000 Hz, right where each driver hands off cleanly. And because Stas is digital, I can run a 48 decibel per octave slope, super steep, so these problem areas stay completely out of the audible range. That's not something I would normally do with a passive crossover. It's too complex, too expensive. But with Stas, it's just a few clicks. All right, now that we have that sorted out, let's see if we need to make any more changes.
Are you coming to dinner?
Every time.
My stomach says yes, but my deadline says no. If I stop now, I might never get back in rhythm. It's already 7:41 and no time for dinner. Another 10 minutes vanish. It's 7:51, and every time I smooth out one bump, another one pops up. And that's when I remember.
Wait, Stas has a mobile app, and that means I could adjust it actually in real time. That is so much faster.
Now I can tune live while listening. No delay, no guesswork. Every adjustment shows up instantly. After hours of trial and error, it feels like everything is finally lining up. The graph looks good, but I still hear a few problem spots. A bit more fine-tuning, and I get what feels like it could be the final tune. It's 8:38 p.m. I still need to copy everything I've done to the second channel. Luckily, Stas makes that very easy with just a few clicks. And then it hits me.
I never removed the second crossover.
It took me 32 minutes to rip out the first crossover and wire the DSP. I've got about 20 to do it again. I dive straight in. Woofer and crossover out in a flash, but 10 minutes are already gone. My stomach's still rumbling from skipping dinner, and there's no time. Woofer done. Mid-range check. I finally finished, and I don't even have time to test it. Worse yet, I haven't even heard them both together. But I'm out of time. All I can do now is hope that my hard work pays off. Or maybe, just maybe, Sarah gives me a little leeway. Yeah, she's not giving me any leeway.
All right, what's the first song?
You'll see.
I have no idea what she's going to pick. And of course she chooses the one song I never would have guessed. The Hanging Tree. Thankfully, it's close to what I tested, so it should play well. And so we sit there and listen. And I look over at Sarah. I really thought she would like how this sounds. But nothing. No smile. No nod. The second song she picks, A Million Dreams by Pink. It's completely different. Maybe she'll show some emotion? I keep checking for clues and then I see it. Was it a smile? Or did dinner just not agree with her? I have no clue, and she's not telling me. And then she picks the final song. Whitney Houston, I Will Always Love You. Oh no, one of the hardest songs for a speaker to handle. If it's even a hint too bright, I'm finished. I hit play and I pray. She's silent. And just when I think it's over, she starts singing. Then the kids run down the stairs to join in. My son shouts,
How about up?
Oh, good idea. Let's do it.
what started as a challenge to save these speakers somehow turned into a full-on family dance party. Everyone singing, laughing. The night's chaos turned into something that we'll never forget. I can't believe it either. 4 hours, 100 different obstacles, the trash interruption, skipping dinner, completely putting my trust in Stas, and somehow we pull it off. Stas came through on the most impossible deadline.
They're gone.
Maybe this will finally teach me to start on that honey-do list sooner. Or maybe it'll just teach me that putting it off actually pays off.
So I guess that means I get to keep the speakers.
For now.
What?
If you enjoyed this adventure, hit subscribe because I've got plenty more crazy ideas to test.